Are you all married to the fairy sister, and now you're giving it to the superstar system? What did you do earlier? Keywords of the novel. Everyone has become a goddess husband, who still wants the superstar system without pop-ups. Everyone has become a goddess husband, who still wants the superstar system. Download the complete TXT collection. Everyone has become a goddess husband, who still wants the latest chapters of the superstar system to read. Chapter 1. Immortal Sister is my wife, seeking to read and vote. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Immortal Sister is my wife, seeking to read and vote. Xiaoyang, Xiaoyang. At the entrance of a mansion in the suburbs of Beijing, a glamorous woman was shouting loudly. Quickly, a man wearing an apron and sleeves on his arm ran over. Here, Mom, I'll help you with it. The man smiled and wanted to take the woman's precious blue leather bag from her arm. You don't need to take mine, didn't you see Feifei's big suitcase? She's on both a car and a plane today. If you don't go pick her up, it's fine. When you get home, you won't see anyone. Is there someone like you who works as a husband? Feifei misses you every day while filming outside, do you take her to heart? The woman kept scolding him. How can you not rest assured? I heard from Feifei that you were coming back today and went to my friend's mountain to catch 2 walking chickens to stew for you. Mom, let me tell you, these chickens are really amazing. My friend is planning to do something else this year, such as certification. The man didn't care and explained to his mother. In law while smiling and looking to the side. Li Mengfei stood quietly there, not participating in the conversation between her mother and her husband. Her expression was very plain, as if she was outside, and the troubles in this world had nothing to do with her. She was originally a character who stood aloof from the world. Judging from her graceful figure, stunning appearance, and the innate, immortal spirit of not eating worldly fireworks, it's no wonder fans call her Immortal Sister. Strictly speaking, Yang Yi is also her fan. Yang Yi, who was still in junior high school, saw Li Mengfei, who appeared in historical dramas, on TV. At that time, she was still a young girl, with a 360-degree oval face without any dead corners. Her eyebrows and eyes were picturesque, her lips were like rosy clouds, her skin was more beautiful than snow, and her temperament was cold, like a fairy descending from the sky. At that time, the young man who didn't know what chasing stars meant was already captivated by the Immortal Sister. However, he didn't expect that he would also embark on the path of acting, and more than 10 years later, he would form an acquaintance with Li Mengfei in a film crew. What's even more unexpected is that he would fall in love with Li Mengfei and secretly obtain a marriage certificate. Is fairy sister my daughter? Law. It's been half a year now, and Yang Yi feels like it's all just a dream. In fact, after becoming an actor, Yang Yi was very aware of how dark and dirty the entertainment industry was. He struggled for 10 years and remained unknown because he didn't want to join the same crowd. But Li Mengfei's success is different from other actresses. She is well protected by her mother, and her background is very strong, so she doesn't need to pay any price to have good resources. Her personality is also like her image in front of the screen, not arrogant or irritable, not competitive or aggressive, low-key and introverted. It still looks a bit aloof, especially with such a beautiful female celebrity. There's no second one in the entertainment industry, it seems like it should be difficult to get close to. But after truly interacting with Li Mengfei and gaining her trust and liking, Yang Yi realized that she was actually a particularly easy-going, kind, and gentle person. On weekdays, it gives people a deep sense of distance, just because she is lazy to socialize, lazy to please those she doesn't like, lazy to do things she doesn't like. After being with Yang Yi, she also gained a deeper understanding of her laziness. Apart from filming, Li Mengfei's life should not be too simple. She rarely plays with her phone and usually reads books and teases cats. So, being outside is also an illusion. When looking at Yang Yi, Li Mengfei's lips curved slightly. There was no need to smile too brightly, but it was already colorful, as if the flowers of the entire estate were blooming in an instant. "Are you tired?" Yang Yi took the suitcase and asked softly. "Not bad." Li Mengfei answered briefly and walked beside him. The woman stood behind, looking at the backs of the two of them, her lips involuntarily curling downwards. Li Yi still doesn't understand why her daughter chose this man. Even if we forget about dating, we still insist on obtaining a marriage certificate. This man is not handsome either. At an average level, there are countless more handsome people in the entertainment industry than him. Being talented and capable is not necessarily true. If it were, it wouldn't have been 10 years since graduating from Beijing Film Academy, and I would still be mediocre, playing small roles that the audience couldn't remember. Sweet-mouthed, hard-working, and skilled at cooking is true. Since he arrived, their nanny, Aunt Zhu, has become anxious and worried about losing her job. "Mr. Yang, can I pick up the box?" Aunt Zhu had been standing by the door just now. When she saw that Li Yi was not stopping her, she secretly followed her and wanted to take the suitcase from Yang Yi's hand. "It's okay, Aunt Zhu. I'll handle this small matter. By the way, Aunt Zhu, could you please help me turn off the fire in the kitchen and tidy up the table? We'll have dinner when we come down." Yang Yi smiled and blocked her hand. "Ha! What is the use of these advantages? A big man, unable to stand firm, unable to make a career, on the other hand, has to eat and live with women, and even willingly become a full-time husband. What kind of man is this?" Li Yi looked disdainfully at Yang Yi's figure disappearing into the elevator, completely forgetting that giving up her career to become a full-time housewife was her requirement. "Mom, first you have a bowl of soup. I cooked it with ground chicken and medicinal herbs, until the chicken is boneless and all the nutrients are in the soup. It's especially good for your body. Try it. Don't worry about the greasiness, I removed all the fat when I cooked it." Yang Yi is the busiest person at this table, sometimes serving soup to his mother-in-law, and sometimes serving dishes to his wife. Of course, when serving soup to his mother-in-law, it's a bit harder. He explains while serving it. "Picking up groceries for my wife made me very happy." Their eyes met as if they had said a lot. Li Mengfei's usually slightly cold Danfang eyes now carry a pulse of laughter, and the flow of her eyes seems as if time is about to be softened. "Don't tell me about chicken soup yet." Li Yi heavily placed her chopsticks on the bowl and said sternly, "I'm asking you, what party did you take Fei to last month?" Yang Yi turned his head to look at Li Mengfei. Li Mengfei lowered her head awkwardly, leaving only her big eyes blinking at him. She accidentally spilled the beans. "Mom, that's a very good friend of mine. His daughter's birthday is celebrated, so we all go together to celebrate for the little girl. There's nothing else," and at that time, Fei just finished filming a scene. I thought she was also quite tired, so I said to take her with me to relax and get out of the scene. Yang Yi explained to his mother-in-law with a smiling face. Actually, it was Li Mengfei who said she wanted to go. "I've told you 3 times and 5 times, haven't I? This relationship doesn't last long. If you really care about Fei and her career, don't let 2 of you appear outside together. You're fox friends and dog friends, it's best to have less interaction. The world is prosperous for profit, and the world is bustling for profit. Be careful when they expose your affairs to reporters." Li Yi ignored Yang Yi's explanation and angrily scolded her. What else can't be seen after getting married and obtaining a certificate? Yang Yi actually didn't feel good about it, but he also admitted that his mother-in-law was right. Li Mengfei has been in the entertainment industry for so many years, and her image has always been very clean, with almost no rumors circulating. If it weren't for the fact that the entertainment industry has long been indifferent to whether she is a jade woman or not, Li Mengfei might have been pursued as a jade woman by the entertainment media. Audiences and fans love Li Mengfei's beautiful and innocent appearance. If they find out she's secretly married, they will definitely explode. In online terms, her character will collapse. Her reputation is so bad, who dares to ask her to film then? Not necessarily not, but good resources will definitely never be considered for use again. As an 18th-tier actor who has struggled in the film and television industry for 10 years, Yang Yi is aware of this. So, when she was with Lee Mengfei, Yang Yi had already made the decision to sacrifice herself and fulfill her daughter-in-law. Otherwise, she would not have agreed to a series of harsh conditions proposed by her mother-in-law, nor would she be willing to give up her career and stay at home to be a soft rice man. It's all my fault for speaking out and getting scolded by your mother. After dinner, Yang Yi and Lee Mengfei walked hand in hand on the lawn path of the estate. It's okay, my mom has a sharp tongue and a heart full of tofu. I understand. Yang Yi patted the back of Lee Mengfei's hand. I'm sorry for you, I keep letting you give way to her. Mom's health isn't very good, and she's getting older now. Lee Mengfei looked at him with some gratitude. I know, otherwise why did I specially buy mountain chicken today to cook soup for our mother? This soup is not for you to cook. You're young, so you don't need to supplement it like this. Puff. Lee Mengfei was amused by his poor mouth, holding on with one hand and hitting his arm with the other. She loves to hear the word young age. Especially now that she is over 30 and 4 years older than Yang Yi, she quietly begins to care about everything related to age. Let's go. Let's go back. After walking with her for 2 laps, Yang Yi pulled her towards the house. What are you doing back so early? I'll give you a neck massage. You've been running outside these days, so you need to take care of your neck, otherwise it'll hurt again. Lee Mengfei's cervical spine is the root cause of Wei Ye's illness when she was filming martial arts scenes in her youth. Speaking of which, her fate with Yang Yi also began with cervical massage. Yang Yi used to learn the techniques of traditional Chinese massage to take care of his elderly grandmother with osteoporosis. Although traditional Chinese massage cannot cure Lee Mengfei's cervical vertebra problem, Lee Mengfei still has to go to the hospital for phototherapy and acupuncture and moxibustion every once in a while, but with Yang Yi's daily massage at home, her pain can be alleviated a lot, and even the number of attacks is less. Okay. Lee Mengfei hugged his arm and happily responded. Hey, isn't this moon a bit big? As the two of them walked back, Yang Yi inadvertently lifted his head and saw a round light flying towards him. Getting closer and bigger in Yang Yi's pupils. What? Before Lee Mengfei could hear what he was saying clearly, Yang Yi suddenly stumbled and fell to the ground. Oh my! Lee Mengfei was pulled down by him and fell to the ground. Fortunately, there was a lawn next to her, and Lee Mengfei didn't fall as badly as Yang Yi. Yang Yi, what's wrong with you? Lee Mengfei didn't bother to pat the grass on her skirt, got up, and hurriedly went to check Yang Yi's condition. This posture indeed looks very miserable. Lee Mengfei is worried that he will snatch the ground with his head, and his nose, face, and swelling are mild. He is most afraid of skin and flesh cracking, and will directly break his appearance. However, after Yang Yi was helped up by her, she used the flashlight of her phone to shine on her and didn't even notice any wounds, even bruises. But his eyes were a bit dazed, and Lee Mengfei called out a few times with concern before she could react. It's okay, I don't know why I tripped. Fei, you didn't fall, did you? Let me take a look at your leg. Yang Yi regained his senses and didn't care about his own situation. He asked with concern, while directly reaching out to lift Lee Mengfei's skirt. It's okay, I just got my skirt a little dirty. Can you help me block it later? Don't let my mom see you, or else we'll have to talk about how old we are. We walk and fall. Lee Mengfei breathed a sigh of relief when she saw that everything was normal. If you blame me, it's also my fault. I stumbled on my left foot while walking, and even implicated you. Yang Yi laughed heartily. But where did he fall because he tripped himself? It's also difficult for Yang Yi to explain to his wife, can't he say he got an inexplicable superstar system? Recruiting for the entertainment industry, this time I will become a director and actor, filming and acting. I will also have a simple and sweet love life with my fairy sister. I urge everyone to collect, vote, and read more. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. We've already had a soft meal, what other systems do we need? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. We've already had a soft meal, what other systems do we need? What is that sudden attack on him? UFO. A supernatural event. A fleeting wormhole. Yang Yi is currently unable to figure it out. However, what can be certain is that he saw something very magical. Because after the disappearance of light and shadow, superstar system, filled with parallel world literature and film and television content was activated in his mind. Yang Yi didn't have time to figure out this superstar system yet. In order not to make his wife worry, he first explained the past using the excuse of not looking at the road and falling. Li Mengfei slept very early, perhaps due to the hard work of traveling by car or plane today. She didn't even do the yoga she practices every night. At around 8 o'clock, while Yang Yi was massaging and conditioning her, she fell asleep soundly. Yang Yi was not drowsy. He lay in bed, closed his eyes, and entered the giant star system that had not yet been studied. After some research, Yang Yi finally understood that giant star system was a game developed by the parallel plane of the Earth in the 22nd century. Yes, it's not even a serious system for cultivating superstars, it's just a game for entertainment and leisure. Players need to shoot or perform the works inside, and after intelligent evaluation by the system, they will receive corresponding achievement scores. They will compete with other players to see whose superstar ranks higher. Of course, for players without a director or acting foundation, the game will also provide them with experience cards, allowing them to follow well-known directors and actors in person, observe their performance of the work, and improve their cognition and abilities. From the introduction, this game is quite magical. Especially the experience card. What is immersive experience? Do directors and actors still specifically record their emotional journey when filming works? Or what technological means were used to reproduce it? Or is it similar to reading comprehension in Chinese, where later generations impose their own understanding on their predecessors? Yang Yi is unknown because the superstar system he obtained is not complete. Due to the impact of time and space travel, data from 2030 onwards is missing, and the system's intelligence is also compromised, making it impossible to perform intelligent scoring. In fact, having intelligent ratings is meaningless. No one plays with him, and his ranking will always be first and last. However, after all, it is a future product from parallel time and space. Its massive database still stores literature, film and television content from before 2030, and the remaining AI programs can even self-repair. The superstar system has connected to the network information of this world, and has redefined the game rules and rating rules based on the situation of this world. Simply put, the new gameplay has become. Players need to shoot or perform works in the superstar system. Once they meet the passing standards, they can score levels and receive corresponding director experience cards or actor experience card rewards. The level of rating is related to box office and ratings. The corresponding experience card level varies depending on the rating obtained. For example, if the box office exceeds 100 million and you receive an 8-point rating from the system, you can get an experience card for top directors and actors. If the box office exceeds 1 billion and you reach 9 points, you can get a glimpse of legendary directors and actors on Earth, and so on. In order to help Yang Yi understand the benefits of the experience card, at the beginning, the system also provided an unlimited level director experience card and an unlimited level actor experience card. However, after reading it, Yang Yi smiled bitterly at the corners of his mouth, with a somewhat melancholic expression. Why did you go earlier? Why did I struggle on the way to pursue my dream in the past 10 years, playing the role of a minor supporting role, or even acting as a substitute for others, and you didn't come, so I got up early and went dark day by day without seeing hope. Why did you suddenly appear when I met my childhood dream goddess, fell in love and married her, and had already made a decision to give up my dream and completed the psychological transition of sacrificing my career for my beloved fairy sister? Now, it may be more difficult for Yang Yi to return to the old path of pursuing his dreams than to let him give it up in the past. It's not because he's eating soft food too comfortably now and has become less ambitious. It's not because he doesn't want to be an actor anymore. The original intention is still there, and there are still palpitations. Being a good actor and performing works that the audience loves is still his dream. But now his identity is different. Yang Yi is no longer the young actor who used to be able to drift north and wander aimlessly. He became Li Mengfei's husband. This identity implies a heavy burden of responsibility. Not only was it imposed by his mother-in-law, but he also swore to protect his wife and her lifelong career and dreams. Because he deeply loves Li Mengfei. If he goes to film again, what will Li Mengfei do? How did my mother-in-law pass that level? What if things get big and entertainment reporters who smell the smell discover his relationship with Li Mengfei? Yang Yi let out a long sigh. I am already willing to become a soft guy. What's the use of the superstar system you give me now? The current situation is quite good, with a beautiful and kind wife, an endless amount of money and a luxury house that one may not be able to buy even after a lifetime of hard work. Why bother breaking such a beautiful situation? When exiting the superstar system, Yang Yi suddenly had a heart attack. No filming, let me take a look. Is it okay? The massive literary and film and television databases in the system are like libraries, which can be read and watched freely without the need to complete filming before use. Let's not talk about reading for now. With so many movies and TV dramas from parallel worlds, he can watch them to his heart's content. Just like how he used to go back and watch classic movies and TV dramas once, twice, and 3 times when he didn't have any scenes to shoot, Yang Yi could also use the superstar system as a magical player to watch those classic movies and TV dramas on Earth in parallel time and space when he had nothing to do. Amazing! Thinking about this, Yang Yi immediately became enthusiastic. Yang Yi stepped into the system's database, just like entering a huge library. The literary and film resources inside were incredibly retro, simulated as books, boxes of videotapes, neatly displayed on rows of towering bookshelves. Even if he just wants to watch a movie, Yang Yi has to go to the cinema and choose for himself. But aren't these videotapes a bit too many? Looking at the stacked shelves with no end in sight, Yang Yi felt a little scalp tingling. Can it not be too much? This collection includes all the film and television resources on that planet before 2030, from various countries, languages, and cultural backgrounds. It is said that there are tens of thousands of movies made globally each year, and there have been over 300,000 since 2000, not to mention those made before 2000. The system will classify according to country, time, type, style, and even filter based on directors and actors. As long as they want, the videotapes in the cinema will be instantly arranged in the style they want. But the problem is, Yang Yi doesn't know the directors and actors in the parallel world. How could he know which directors' films are good, and which actors' works sell well? There are no awards or other categories in the system's classification, let alone sorting the box office of works. If we look and filter one by one, when will we have to pick them? Don't be picky. He stood in front of the shelf watching the names of those movies, he couldn't even finish watching them at a glance. That is to say, can we recommend a work that suits me? A movie or TV series is fine, we need it in Chinese. Yang Yi tried to seek help from the system AI. Sure, but the recommended works by the system need to be filmed by the player. Otherwise, the system will not recommend the next work before that. Please confirm whether the system is required to provide suggestions for film and television works. The system AI responded. The meaning is tailored-made for you, so it must be photographed and cannot be picky, wasting the system's emotions. Actually, what I meant was something that suits me to watch, not something that suits me to shoot. But it's okay, you can recommend it first. Confirm. Yang Yi has made up his mind to go for free with the system's recommendation first. It's up to me whether or not to shoot, and the system doesn't say there's any punishment for not being able to shoot. After Yang Yi confirmed, the system AI transformed into a ray of golden light, like an agile golden dragon, quickly weaving between the rows of shelves. Not long after, it flew back to Yang Yi, curled up in a ball, and when the golden light dissipated, a huge box appeared in front of him. A TV drama. From the appearance and color, it can be seen that the box belongs to the TV theater. Yang Yi is not picky. He just said that movies and TV dramas are fine. The movie would be even better, he can still finish watching it tonight. It's difficult to finish watching TV dramas overnight. Let's just focus on TV dramas. AI has its word first, and it won't make a second recommendation until it's produced on its own. Yang Yi took the box and carefully placed it on the nearby tabletop, opening it from the magnetic suction side. There are 12 videotapes and a thick printed paper inside the box. Does it mean there are only 12 episodes? This TV series is quite short. Yang Yi looked at the number of episodes marked on the videotape and the titles of each episode, and touched his chin thoughtfully. If there are only 12 episodes, you may not be able to watch it all tonight. Yang Yi is also interested in the so-called customized recommendation of the system and wants to know why it is suitable for him. However, before taking out the videotape, Yang Yi took out the neatly bound stack of printed paper inside. This is the script. Without even flipping over and looking at it, Yang Yi understood. The script, he's so familiar with it. Not only because he has been exposed to countless scripts in the past decade, but also because he graduated from the drama, film and television literature, drama, major in the literature department of Beijing Film Academy. Although he chose this major more because he was able to get close to Beijing Film Academy and attend acting classes in other classes, just for his own actor dream, after all, he had taken classes and wrote his own scripts. Seeing such a complete set of scripts now, Yang Yi still feels very friendly in his heart. Let's take a look at the videotape first. Just watch the script and you'll be the spoilers. At this moment, Yang Yi regarded himself as an ordinary audience, put down the script, picked up the videotape of the first episode, and walked towards the projector. Episode 1. Summer Vacation, end of this chapter. Chapter 3. Climbing Mountains Together. The type of photography, 12, for follow-up reading, you are listening at novel full.audio. Chapter 3. Climbing Mountains Together. The type of photography, 12, asking for follow-up reading in tickets, hey, can you slow down and take care of others? I can't even walk anymore. You said you want to climb the mountain, but it's tiring to climb high. The opening scene of the TV series is a continuous and rugged mountain range, covered by dense trees. Under the brilliant sunlight, mist rises and the green mountains are like dais, giving off a magnificent beauty of mountains and rivers. But the beauty of this kind of aerial photography's grand perspective appears somewhat convoluted and eerie under the influence of panting and complaining background sounds. Yang Yi looked and listened, feeling vaguely that something was wrong. The picture and sound are not in harmony. Shouldn't this scenery be accompanied by soothing and beautiful music, or by grand music? Dad and Mom, we're all here now. Can we hold on a little longer? As a relatively younger voice appeared, the figures of the three characters also appeared on the gradually approaching mountain road. The camera turned and arrived at the scene of two elderly people supporting each other and sitting on a rock, with a middle-aged man holding a DSLR camera ready to take photos for them. Something's wrong. What kind of expression is that? Why are you taking pictures of your parents and still looking unhappy? Yang Yi is considered an insider. Although he doesn't appear to be a typical actor, He can still see the problem with the expression of this middle-aged man in the screen, despite graduating from Beijing Film Academy. Of course, his idea only flashed by in a flash. Let's watch the plot first. Dad, get your head closer to Mom. Mom, lean your body a little more. Don't move, I'll come and try this side. The middle-aged man raised his DSLR camera and used the viewfinder to take photos of the elderly couple. After a while, he changed his position as if he was very serious. So what's going on? Hurry up. But whether it's the noisy sound of the wind blowing through the forest in the background, the incessant movement of the shutter without pressing it, or the scene switching to the viewfinder's perspective, the old couple flashed red under the camera lens. All of this made Yang Yi feel the increasingly tense atmosphere in the plot. How could there be an ominous feeling? What type of TV drama is this? Isn't it the kind of soap opera that talks about the length of the family? The middle-aged man seemed dissatisfied with the composition just now. He went over to pose for the old couple and put their feet forward. All right. The old man was very impatient, and the wrinkles on his face were all squeezed together. The middle-aged man lowered his head and had a gloomy expression. When he lifted his head, he smiled and said, "All right." But the next second, he extended his arms and forcefully pushed the two elderly people. Sleeping slot. Yang Yi was so frightened that he couldn't control himself and fell backwards, almost falling off the sofa like the two elderly people who had fallen off the mountain. What is the situation? After settling down, Yang Yi stared in disbelief at the middle-aged man who had just hit hard. He was lying on the rocks, seemingly anxiously shouting, "Dad, Mom," but at this moment, he was like a lizard scene edited in, cold-blooded and ruthless. What kind of person is this? Will you be a killer of your own parents? Yang Yi has no answer yet, as the screen darkens and enters the official opening of the series. However, Yang Yi's interest in this TV drama has been completely captivated by the plot of the first 2 minutes. He turned his head and glanced at the script placed next to him. The name of the TV drama is printed on the front. The hidden corner. The system really understands me, choosing such an interesting suspense theme. Yang Yi crossed his legs and laughed. Yang Yi soon couldn't laugh anymore. In the first episode of The Hidden Corner, the motive behind Zhang Dongsheng's crime was explained. It was not his parents who were pushed down the mountain by him, but his parents-in-law. Due to a rift in the relationship between Zhang Dongsheng and his wife Su Jing is currently divorcing him, while his father-in-law and mother-in-law are also speaking coldly towards him, not only failing to reconcile but also adding fuel to the situation. At the full moon banquet for Su Jing's cousin's child, his father-in-law still didn't give him a good face. There were various verbal conflicts, and other relatives also looked down on Zhang Dongsheng, who was just a substitute teacher in the youth palace. "Dongsheng, my uncle told you. Career is very important to men, and without ambition, men are not considered men." Originally, Yang Yi felt heavy as he watched Zhang Dongsheng being besieged at the banquet. Now, upon hearing these words, he couldn't help but lower his eyelids and shook his head with a bitter smile. Where does the system understand him? This is clearly pointing at him. A simple line from a small character without even a name struck him hard on the head like a morning bell. He is not Zhang Dongsheng, weak, decadent, and cruel. Li Mengfei is not Su Jing either. She won't look down on Yang Yi just because he is not successful in his career. If she looks down on him, they won't come together. But Zhang Dongsheng's experience still deeply stimulated Yang Yi. He couldn't help but compare, think, and even experience a certain degree of ideological wavering. A gentle breeze brushed over the windowsill, opening a small gap in the lightweight gauze curtain. The bright sunlight took the opportunity to slip in and shine on the soft and clean bed. Yang Yi was sitting on the bed with disheveled hair and a disheveled face, looking drowsy, clearly not fully awake yet. Gathering his scattered spirit for a moment, he moved his eyes slightly and cast his gaze into the giant star system in his consciousness. Still there. So all of this is not a dream. However, if it were a dream, how could he possibly dream of such a wonderful TV series as The Hidden Corner? Not only thought-provoking, but also logical and fast-paced. He couldn't stop watching the subsequent plot, which led to him staying up late and waking up late. Li Mengfei has already woken up, and the sound of her teasing the cats and dogs on the lawn can still be faintly heard outside the window. Yang Yi got up from the bed, first folded the blanket, tidied up the bed, and then went to wash up and take care of his personal image. When Yang Yi came out of the room, he met Aunt Chu, who was mopping the floor. "Good morning, Aunt Chu." Yang Yi greeted with a smile. "Mr. Yang has woken up. Go and have breakfast quickly." Aunt Chu wanted to say something more, but hesitated for a moment and didn't say much. "In a few days, I'll go buy some small brands." "Why buy a small brand?" "Wear them all with names written on them, otherwise it's too difficult to remember. I can't even distinguish which cats you picked up and which ones our mom picked up now." "Puff, what are you doing with this?" "Those who don't remember their names are all called Cici. In the sunny room on the first floor, Yang Yi and Li Mengfei sat among the cats, masturbating. As Yang Yi said, there are really too many cats in their family. Dozens of them. Looking around, there are cats everywhere. Cats come in various types and sizes, including black, white, floral, orange, and any color or breed. Even though they each have their own characteristics, it is difficult for Yang Yi, who is blind to cat faces, to fully recognize them. Perhaps there is an owner in the room, and the cats will take turns coming to play with their owner. Some of them are squinting their eyes to accept their touch, some are crawling on Li Mengfei's long legs, some are rubbing Yang Yi's buttocks and waiting in line, some have finished massaging, or lie by the French window, or nest on the cat climbing frame, enjoying the morning sunshine. Yang Yi also likes to sit here with Li Mengfei. They don't look at the computer or bring their phones, just holding a book, sunbathing, masturbating with their cats, and cherishing each other's companionship. Li Mengfei usually goes out to film and do endorsement activities, and when she goes out, it can take several days, weeks, or even more than a month. As for celebrity families, it is common to gather less and leave more. Li Yi's request for Yang Yi to give up her acting career was also based on this consideration. Originally, when one person was filming outside, they had less time at home. If both of them had to film, wouldn't it be possible to be together for only a few days in a year? This kind of marital life, no contradiction, is strange. Why not let Yang Yi stay at home? Anyway, his career is not worth mentioning, it's optional. Yang Yi can understand that married life is indeed a bit boring, and he has experienced the agony of getting together less and leaving more. Fortunately, Li Mengfei is very homey. After work, she returns home and basically doesn't go out to play. She also rarely eats or gathers with other actors. The young couple lived together, although their lives were ordinary and light, they were also very warm and sweet. "Fei Fei, Fei Fei." Li Yi's cries shattered the tranquility of this time. As soon as Li Mengfei and Yang Yi got up from the floor, the door of the sunshine room was pushed open by Li Yi in a lively manner. Behind her, a group of 4 dogs, big, 3, and small, took advantage of the situation and ran in, causing the cats to scatter and flee. The dog didn't hurt the cat's heart, it was just energetic and kept pulling the cats to play. The cats expressed their annoyance. "Fei Fei, good news. On the production team of Born in the Sun, Note 1, my mom contacted me and they said that director Shi Yanqiu will audition for the role of the first female actress next week. The script has also been sent to you, and time is tight. You should go and practice it quickly." Li Yi handed over a roll of printing paper in her hand and said with a smile on her face. "Born to the Sun." Yang Yi, who had heard Li Yi say before, is certainly familiar with this film project. There are rumors online that it is a theme movie aimed at winning awards, and Shi Yanqiu is also one of the top directors in China. I don't know how many actors are eager to work with him. It is not easy for Li Mengfei to have the opportunity to audition for such a movie, and she is also the lead actress. Because in terms of acting skills, Li Mengfei is not as good as those top actresses. Many times, she can perform more brilliant roles that are more in line with her own temperament and characteristics. This is also why after 20 years of debut, she is still questioned by film critics as a flower in the vase actress. But Yang Yi will still feel happy for her. Great. Director Shi Yanqiu's play. Feifei, these days, let's practice at home. I'll set up a scene for you, familiarize yourself with the script, and you'll definitely pass the audition. Yang Yi smiled and encouraged. Okay, I'll try my best to give it a try. Li Mengfei stood still and only smiled lightly while speaking. This audition still puts a lot of pressure on her. What are you playing in? Don't use your acting skills that can't even rank as a supporting role to influence Feifei. Let her figure it out for herself. Faced with Yang Yi reaching out to help Li Mengfei hold the script, Li Yi moved aside in disgust and didn't want to pass it to him. When I heard this morning that Yang Yi was still sleeping in, she held back a lot of anger. Even though Li Yi is happy because her daughter has the opportunity to audition for an important movie project, she can't help but take advantage of this lazy son-in-law to make a name for herself. Note 1. The name, Born in the Sun, overlaps with the name of a TV series in reality, but they are completely different. Don't associate them. Here, Born in the Sun is a movie that is parallel to time and space and is under preparation. It belongs to a plot fabricated by Xiao Han, and the specific story will be mentioned in the next chapter. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Please ask Teacher Zhang Songwen to guide the performance. 22. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Please ask Teacher Zhang Songwen to guide the performance. 22. I won't go, can you help me thank Teacher Lu? This cake. Li Mengfei stood up from the chair, took something from the air beside her, and then her gaze fell on Yang Yi sitting opposite her, holding the script. Okay, stop. Yang Yi placed the script on the sofa and stood up with it. How about it? Is the pace too fast? Li Mengfei looked at him with some not confident. They are practicing the script of Born in the Sun at home. Although Li Yi does not approve of Yang Yi's acting skills and is afraid that he will cause trouble, which will affect Li Mengfei's understanding of the script, she also knows that Li Mengfei needs someone to cooperate with the dialogue. So, Li Yi decided to go out and have afternoon tea with friends, out of sight and out of mind. Li Mengfei doesn't have such prejudice as her mother, even though her status is much larger than Yang Yi, a young actor in the 18th tier. The rhythm is a bit fast. However, it's not the fast pace of speaking. Liang Xiaobei's professional habit should be to speak at this speed. But your movements are a bit too neat, unlike a mother who has lost her child. The movie, Born in the Sun, tells the story of Liang Xiaobei, a young mother who has lost her child, and her complex experiences and emotional changes at different stages. In the end, she chooses to emerge from the darkness and live in the sun. It is indeed very difficult for Li Mengfei to play such a role. Not to mention that she has never played the role of a mother before, even in reality, she has never considered giving birth, so she feels a bit unable to immerse herself in the character's emotions. Can you try slowing down your movements? For example, if your eyes suddenly become dull, let your inner sadness be expressed through your eyes and movements. Yang Yi knows how to perform, after all, just like Li Mengfei, both come from the Beijing Film Academy. But his acting skills are not particularly good, otherwise he wouldn't have struggled for 10 years without any success. Of course, this is also related to his unwillingness to shoot those money-laundering movies, collude with people in the entertainment industry, and refuse to listen to his agent's advice and participate in variety shows that are not related to acting. How to express inner sadness through eyes and actions. Yang Yi can't go into too much detail. So Li Mengfei performed it again, but Yang Yi still frowned, feeling that something was not right. The action lines are average, but Li Mengfei doesn't feel like a mother on her body. Is it the face of the daughter? Law. After all, she is a fairy sister who does not indulge in worldly pleasures. In terms of temperament, she looks like a naive young girl. Not to mention having children, few people believe that she is married. Of course, Yang Yi cannot tell her daughter. Law that she cannot play Born in the Sun, because Li Mengfei has always been eager to make breakthroughs in her acting career and she is eager to challenge some difficult roles. Looking at his wife's hopeful gaze, he really wanted to help her. But now he is at the end of his rope and cannot give any more advice. From the perspective of the script, the portrayal of the character Liang Xiaobei is very full, with both the tenderness of a mother and the swift and decisive actions of a workplace woman. And often, these two identities are not separated. Their interweaving, entanglement, and struggle greatly increase the difficulty of performing this character. Not to mention Yang Yi and Li Mengfei, it is estimated that many frontline actors who have been praised by the media will find it difficult to portray Liang Xiaobei well, to the extent that director Shi Yanxiu recognizes her. Yang Yi doesn't want to disappoint his wife. What should we do? Wait, I'll go to the restroom and you can read the script. I'll come back and tell you later. Yang Yi suddenly hugged her belly, got up, and ran to the bathroom in their bedroom, leaving Li Mengfei, who was a bit confused, sitting alone in a chair. Of course, it's not a urine escape. Yang Yi ran into the bathroom because he thought of someone. He may be able to help Li Mengfei. Who? Zhu Yongping. Zhu Yongping is not a real person, he is the father of Zhu Chaoyang in The Hidden Corner. Yang Yi still doesn't know the name of Zhu Yongping's actor, and he didn't look carefully at the beginning and end of the film. Anyway, the names of people from another world are just like English names in foreign movies, and it's difficult to associate them with them. But in Yang Yi's opinion, the character Zhu Yongping has a certain degree of similarity with Liang Xiaobei. They all lost their children due to accidents. Why didn't Yang Yi think of Wang Yao? Wang Yao also lost her child, and she is still a mother. Isn't it more like Liang Xiaobei? In Yang Yi's view, Wang Yao showed a hysterical attitude when facing the death of her child, which was very direct and thorough, but also lacked the change and complexity that Yang Yi wanted. Zhu Yongping has feelings of sadness, suspicion, self-blame, forced smiles, painful struggles, and self-deception towards his daughter's death and son. He has different stages and states of self-deception, while also exerting great restraint to prevent all these emotions from appearing on his face. The complexity and changes in these inner scenes are more similar to Liang Xiaobei. Moreover, Yang Yi believes that playing the role of Wang Yao would not be a problem for an ordinary actress. On the contrary, it was the actor Zhu Yongping who left a deep impression on Yang Yi, especially the scene where he slapped himself with a recording pen, which directly impressed him. If he had acted, he wouldn't have acted so well or so vividly. Please invite the actor teacher of Zhu Yongping to come and guide us. Perhaps he will have his own unique understanding of Liang Xiaobei's role. Yang Yi hid in the restroom, used his consciousness to enter the superstar system, and then used the actor experience card provided by the system to bind the actor who played Zhu Yongping. So his name is Zhang Songwen. After using the actor experience card, Yang Yi suddenly had a pile of information in his mind. The actor experience card is not about inviting the gods to the body. The superstar system is not so mysterious yet. Actually, when I read the introduction before, the system made it very clear, by immersing oneself in following famous directors and actors, observing their performance of works, and improving one's cognition and abilities. The actor experience card simply conveys the actor's thoughts on the character, understanding of the plot, and the inner journey behind each action and expression performed during the performance of the work to the player. However, compared to watching movies, this transmission is simpler and more rough, directly enlightening Yang Yi and stuffing all his brains in. No wonder the experience card has no time limit, it turns out to be disposable. A complete understanding will definitely take time, but Yang Yi is not going to play Zhu Yongping now. He just needs to understand the key plot behind Zhang Songwen's portrayal of Zhu Yongping's loss of a child. Husband, are you feeling unwell somewhere? In a daze, for an unknown amount of time, the worried voice of Li Mengfei came from outside the bathroom, and Yang Yi suddenly regained consciousness from the experience. What a formidable teacher Zhang Songwen. Yang Yi stood up to wash his hands, and the sound of the automatic flushing of the toilet behind him was also difficult to attract his attention. Because his thoughts couldn't help but immerse themselves in the experience just now. It feels like dreaming back to Beijing and attending a performance class again. Teacher Zhang Songwen's thorough understanding of performance left him amazed. He felt that his years of acting had been a bit busy, and the gap between him and those who truly knew how to act was still so great. Of course, Yang Yi was also very excited because experiencing and understanding acting from Zhang Songwen's perspective gave him a new understanding of acting and reignited his passion for acting, which became even more intense. It's okay, it's just a sudden urge to go to the bathroom. Let's continue with your scene just now. After Yang Yi walked out of the bathroom, he eagerly pulled his wife back to the sofa. Okay. Li Mengfei carefully looked at his face and confirmed that there was no pallor or other unusual state before finally letting go. Liang Xiaobei is a mother who has lost her child, but this scene is about a year after the accident occurred. What do you think her current emotional state is? Can she let go or can't? Yang Yi held the script in one hand and gestured with the other hand. I can't put it down now. Li Mengfei shook her head. Yes, it's only been a year, how could she let it go? Although her emotions may not be as hysterical as they were at the beginning, a mother's love for her child is difficult to fade away over time. Therefore, her expression now is not sad, but a numb and sluggish state that occasionally immerses herself in sadness while forcing herself to face reality. Yang Yi's current analysis of the script is based on the ideas of Professor Zhang Songwen. Of course, it has nothing to do with Zhu Yongping, because these are two different scripts, two different characters, and naturally require different understandings and reflections. Yang Yi was just thinking about how Zhang Songwen would interpret the character of Liang Xiaobei if he were to see it. So I think the expression you just made was very good. A blank expression is the best expression. There's no need to overly emphasize sadness. Sadness doesn't need to be displayed on the face, but needs to be reflected in the details of the action. When Zhu Yongping listened to the recording of a conversation with his son, his expression was also blank. There is no depth, no pain, no sadness, as if just frowning and listening carefully. Only when slapping oneself in the face, can one use actions to express emotional tension. It doesn't need to be too deliberate, as it looks more realistic and resonates better with ordinary audiences. Li Mengfei listened attentively to Yang Yi's words and was also somewhat surprised. Expressionless. Is it a 0-degree performance? Is that okay? Li Mengfei knew that she had accidentally lost face and didn't use her facial expressions to express her emotions properly, but she didn't expect Yang Yi to think that her state was more suitable for Liang Xiaobei's performance. Yes, it's a 0-degree performance. It's not just a 0-degree performance throughout, but in this plot, a 0-degree performance is more suitable for portraying Liang Xiaobei's situation. Do you think she needs a bitter smile, sadness, and sympathy from others? No, after a year, tears have dried up and sympathy has grown tired. She is just swaying left and right in the two states of missing her child and socializing with others, and at the same time unable to extricate herself. So I think her expression now is absent-minded, and what others say to her may seem distant and close in her ears, and she also seems to listen rather than listen. Yang Yi interpreted it and found that his wife was also very confused and seemed to understand something. Alright, you can play the role of an old classmate who came to deliver a cake and invited her to the teacher's gathering. I'll try to play Liang Xiaobei, okay? Yang Yi proposed. Okay. Li Mengfei immediately jumped up from the sofa happily, playing the opposite role with her husband, which was more interesting than simply reciting lines. Don't laugh, calm down a bit. The old classmate who came to visit is actually quite nervous. On the one hand, he wants to help Liang Xiaobei come out, but on the other hand, he is worried about Liang Xiaobei's reaction, afraid that saying the wrong thing will stimulate her fragile heart. This is not difficult to understand, ordinary actors should also have empathy in this regard. Dong dong dong. Li Mengfei sorted out her expression before gently knocking on the door. Zhenghai. Yang Yi made a sliding motion, and when he saw the other person, his expression was slightly surprised. Xiaobei, I came to see you on behalf of Teacher Lu. Li Mengfei's voice can be sweet, with a slight softness, but when pressed down, it can also mature, with a deep magnetism that exudes a killing charm. Teacher Lu, come in first. It's cold outside. Yang Yi glanced at the cake, his eyes slightly stunned, but there was not much emotional expression. He just lowered his eyelids slightly and then pulled the door even wider. The two sat opposite each other, with Li Mengfei sitting on the sofa and Yang Yi sitting on a chair. Li Mengfei sat on the sofa, feeling a bit restless. Because Yang Yi's expression is too strange. After he sat down, he looked at himself, but it seemed as if his gaze would pass through, his eyes deep and scattered. The corners of the mouth still carried the same smile as when they first entered the door, but it seemed like they were not smiling at all. After a while, the corners of the mouth unconsciously drooped down, neither happy nor sad, calm and indifferent. Shouldn't he have spoken the words? Liang Xiaobei is here to entertain guests. Yang Yi had no intention of speaking at all, so she leaned against the table where the cake slices were placed. At first, her gaze was somewhat parallel, but then she flashed a little. When she saw the ground, she flashed again. Although she was looking at her old classmate, her gaze was very hollow, as if she was already wandering in the sky. He didn't say a word or show a single expression, which made Li Mengfei feel the solidification of the atmosphere and the coldness of the aura. How do you feel? It's so cold in the room. Is it even colder when entering the door? Li Mengfei, who has been an actress for so many years, naturally knows that this is not really cold, but that she has taken on the role of an old classmate and felt his feelings. Sitting in front of her is not Yang Yi, but a pitiful person who has lost her child and is also lost and unable to be loved. Yang Yi portrayed Liang Xiaobei so vividly. My husband's acting skills are so amazing. Li Mengfei's beautiful eyes sparkled with surprise and admiration. 4,000 chapters, end of this chapter. Chapter 5. Immortal Sisters Impression, 12, Seeking Tickets and Pursuing Pursuit. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Immortal Sisters Impression, 12, Seeking Tickets and Pursuing Reading. Do I really not need to express my sadness with tears? Shouldn't a mother who has lost her own child often think of others and wash her face with tears? In the evening, near the gate of a primary school in Beijing, Li Mengfei and Yang Yi sat shoulder to shoulder by the coffee shop window. The coffee in the ceramic cups on the table was a bit cold, but they didn't intend to drink it while it was hot. Their attention was focused on the faces of the parents outside the window who were picking up their children from school and coming home. Li Mengfei received Yang Yi's performance guidance, but she did not fully accept it either. After all, she is also an old actor who has been acting for 20 years, and Li Mengfei has her own understanding of how to film. Why did Yang Yi ask her not to cry and play the role in Born in the Sun? At least for most of the scenes, in Li Mengfei's view, there is a need to shed tears. For example, in the scene they simulated at home where Liang Xiaobei refused an invitation from an old classmate, Li Mengfei believed that when Liang Xiaobei saw the cake and thought of her son who loved to eat cake, shedding tears should be a normal emotional reaction. Even if you don't cry profusely, at least tears are still swirling in your eyes, and finally a drop falls, right? And now they are discussing the play at the school gate. A year and a half after her son left, Liang Xiaobei made an appointment with a client to discuss business outside and happened to be staying at a nearby restaurant with a school. Watching the children playing and frolicking outside after school, Liang Xiaobei of course also thought of her own son. Shouldn't this be crying? It's not that she can't cry. Although Li Mengfei's acting skills are not exquisite enough, she is still better than the vast majority of current popular celebrities. It's just a crying scene, it won't be difficult for her. Of course you can cry, but it may get stuck in routine performances and it's difficult to perform well. Look at those parents who pick up their children from school. Yang Yi pointed to the school gate. Li Mengfei looked in the direction he pointed, and in order to see more clearly, she also took off her sunglasses. When going out, Li Mengfei did a lot of cover-up work, such as wearing a duckbill cap, a pair of sunglasses, and using a very large mask to cover up most of her face tightly. There's no way, she has to do this. Unlike Yang Yi, who swaggers down the street without anyone recognizing him, Li Mengfei's appearance easily attracts others to look back. With the national character of a fairy sister, passers-by can recognize her immediately without even needing to look at her whole face. Now, it's very dangerous for Li Mengfei to take off her sunglasses. Even with a mask, her clean and clear eyes are very discerning. However, now Li Mengfei has not considered these, she carefully observes the parents who pick up their children. Do you think when they pick up the child, they will laugh and open their arms like in some TV dramas, welcoming the rushing child? Yang Yi prompts. No, their reaction is very ordinary, and the child's reaction is also very ordinary. They just walked over and then went home. Some helped the child carry their backpack, but some didn't. Is it cultivating the child's independence and autonomy? Li Mengfei also observed very carefully. Yes, after all, they are elementary school students who are not as dependent on their parents as they are in kindergarten. It's not that they don't need their parents' care, but they become more face-saving. Especially for slightly older children, they will involuntarily resist intimate contact with their parents, not to mention hugging. Some are unwilling to hold hands, afraid of being seen by their classmates, and ridicule them for not growing up. Yang Yi had never seen it so carefully before, but influenced by Zhang Songwen's thinking, he was able to see details from his observations of reality that he had not paid much attention to before. Of course, more often than not, they become proactive in using their brains to think about the logic and meaning behind these daily behaviors. Parents are the same. Chinese-style parents don't have so many exaggerated actions, they are all very reserved. But do you say they don't love their children anymore? No, look at them taking their children home. As Yang Yi spoke, there happened to be an ordinary mother carrying a vegetable basket, accompanying her son through the coffee shop window. Li Mengfei and he both stopped and carefully watched as the mother and child walked by. The two of them had no eye contact throughout the journey, the mother was walking hurriedly, and the son was carrying a backpack with a tired face. Love doesn't necessarily come out of words, it's not necessarily conveyed through eye contact, nor is it necessarily expressed through actions. This mother didn't look at her child affectionately on the road, did she? She didn't reach out to rub her child's head to show affection, did she? She walked normally and may say a few words, but I think it was the child's annoying nagging. But where is her love expressed? It's expressed in her companionship with her children, in the basket of vegetables she carries. Despite working hard outside all day, she still came to pick up her child on time and went to buy groceries. The basket of vegetables should be their dinner tonight. This dinner may not be delicious, but it must be something the child loves to eat, and the mother knows what the child likes to eat. Li Mengfei nodded as she listened, and she could get a lot of insights from Yang Yi's words. Just looking at the mother and son who passed by just now, she couldn't imagine so much. But as soon as Yang Yi interpreted it, she felt her heart being touched, as if she had become able to understand this mother and son. Perhaps what I said is more realistic, but more advanced performances are realistic and do not require too much design. They are more of a natural expression and reaction of people, which will naturally provide the audience with a very natural experience, making it easier for the audience to resonate. When it comes to the scene of Liang Xiaobei, she should have two roles. One is the role of a mother. When she sees the lively figures of those children after school, she thinks of her own children. When she sees parents picking up their children, she thinks of her now deserted home. However, at the same time, she also has a role as a workplace woman. She needs to work and clients will come in at any time. Yang Yi paused for a moment. So she won't cry, she will restrain her tears. Li Mengfei suddenly realized. In fact, she could also think of this layer, but before she thought she could shed a tear and then wipe it off. But now when Yang Yi analyzed it, she suddenly felt that shedding tears was not appropriate. Just like the mother who picked up her child from school just now, picking up her child is already a daily routine. She doesn't need to laugh heartily to express her joy at seeing her child, nor does she need to hold hands intimately to prove her love for her child. In the past year and a half, it has been Liang Xiaobei's daily routine to see things and think about people. She does not need to express her longing for her son with tears or express the pain of losing her son with stronger emotions. How should she portray her longing for her child and inner pain? These emotions still exist, right? She hasn't come out yet. Li Mengfei turned around and pressed her elbows on the table, holding her face in both hands, her beautiful eyes shining brightly at Yang Yi's face. This man is not only gentle and caring, but also has a talent like a treasure that needs to be constantly explored and discovered. The more he looks, the more handsome he becomes. The night in the suburbs of Beijing is very quiet, and a red sports car runs through a sparsely populated path, quickly arriving at their mansion. "Where did you go?" "I didn't answer even when I called, neither did I answer yours," nor did he answer. "I'm so anxious." Returning to the house, Li Yi, who had returned at some point, stood in the hall holding her arms and glared at them with an unsightly expression. "Mom, aren't we going to audition for Born in the Sun?" Yang Yi took me out to see the children's parents pick them up after school and experience the feeling of being a mother. Li Mengfei handed her coat to Yang Yi and asked him to hang it for her. She took the initiative to walk towards her mother, hugging her shoulder, and explained softly. "Experience the feeling of being a mother, isn't it enough for you to watch me at home? You have to wander around in public. Nowadays, everyone loves to post photos and videos. If any journalist or passerby takes pictures of you and posts them online, they will be recognized and see how you explain it." Li Yi angrily glanced at Yang Yi, who was still packing his shoes and clothes, and felt that he had damaged his daughter. How could Li Mengfei have been so unruly before? Wherever she goes to play, whether it's shopping or socializing, she will report to her mother. No need to explain, we're not doing anything messy. Yang Yi and I are observing life and studying scripts. Mom, don't worry. You still let him lead you to study scripts. What does he know about acting? Li Mengfei's voice is warm and gentle, with a calming power, but Li Yi's voice is particularly sharp, revealing disdain for Yang Yi between the lines. Yang Yi understands. He has unique insights into acting, and I have been inspired by it. The fact is that they were very engaged in their conversation. They started reading and discussing the script in the morning, and have been observing elementary school students chatting after school, chatting while having a simple Western meal at a cafe, and chatting while driving home. Li Mengfei is already starting to take a new look at her husband. But where can Li Yi listen? Especially when her daughter praises Yang Yi in front of her, it makes Li Yi even more unhappy. She thinks it's Yang Yi's fault, this stinky guy. He doesn't know what kind of intoxicating soup he poured into his daughter, which made Fei Fei so biased towards him. He really has some unique insights into acting, and it's not like he can't even film a decent character after 10 years of acting. Li Yi sneered and mercilessly mocked Yang Yi in front of him. After coaxing her mother for a while, Li Mengfei and Yang Yi returned to their bedroom together. "It's getting late, Li Mengfei is going to practice yoga once and then go to wash up and sleep. Don't listen to mom talk nonsense, she doesn't understand. Li Mengfei, who saw Yang Yi packing his clothes and walking past, with one leg upright and hands clasped in a tree-like motion, spoke softly in her voice. It's okay, I know she's worried about us. It's also my fault for not even looking at my phone after going out for so long, which has caused my mom to worry at home for a long time. Yang Yi turned his head and smiled. He really doesn't care. I used to endure it, not to mention that now he has learned to observe life, think about the psychology of characters, and empathize with all things in the world through his experience with Teacher Zhang Songwen. Thinking from a different perspective, my mother-in-law does have a reason to lose her temper. Although this concern is excessive, it is also the most precious maternal love in the world. Before, you used to find your mother excessive and talkative, but when you lost her, you suddenly woke up and regretted it. Of course, not overly praising maternal love, excessive control, and excessive care are also suffocating. The key is how both parties understand and communicate. Love can develop in a positive direction, whether it is maternal love or love between spouses. Without understanding, communication, and tolerance, everyone is self-centered, which can lead to dramatic extremes like the various distorted relationships in the hidden corner. Don't worry, your husband and I have been friends with middle-aged and elderly women since we were young. We have been coaxing my grandmother, our neighbors' aunts and even the aunts and grandmothers who sell vegetables and fruits. We are very happy. Over time, I guarantee that my mother will treat me just like her son, maybe even closer than your daughter. Yang Yi confidently winked at his wife. Previously, due to her mother-in-law going abroad for business, and later on, Li Mengfei had a TV drama to shoot, Yang Yi didn't have many opportunities to communicate with her. Take it slow, human hearts are always flesh. Yang Yi believes that he can move his mother-in-law and handle family relationships well. What? I'm not telling you this, I'm talking about acting. Li Mengfei pursed her lips and smiled, her beautiful eyes tinged with anger. Being fooled by Yang Yi, she almost forgot the original topic. Mom doesn't understand, but I think you are really a very capable actor. However, maybe you haven't encountered a good work or a good opportunity before. Everyone, keep reading. In the new book period, these data are quite important. The amount of updates for Shaohan is not small, like today, the 2 chapters add up to about 8,000 words, so there is no need to keep it. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Alliance of Disappointed People, 22, 4,000-word vote seeking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Alliance of Disappointed People, 22, 4,000-word vote seeking. Did you not succeed because of a lack of good works and opportunities? Yang Yi used to feel the same way. But now he doesn't think so. On the one hand, it was because of using Teacher Zhang Songwen's actor experience card that Yang Yi gained a new understanding of acting and acting skills, and truly experienced the gap between himself and good actors. Just as he used to listen to the teacher's phrase, "No small roles, only small actors," in Beijing film, how about playing a supporting role? Playing a supporting role can be brilliant and superb. With good acting skills, why worry about not having good opportunities, not having the opportunity to play the lead role? The entertainment industry is very dark and dirty, which is not bad, but there are also some good directors, actors, and works who insist on filming good scenes. Acting seriously and steadfastly like Teacher Zhang Songwen is also his dream. On the other hand, it is because he has a massive library of literature, film and television resources on Earth in parallel time and space, and no longer lacks good works. Perhaps the opportunity is something that can be encountered but not sought after. Without the support of capital, even if a young actor has good acting skills, it will take a long time for them to have the opportunity to stand out. But if others don't take him to play when making movies or TV dramas, he can do it himself. So many good works, can't you still use worry to create a splash in your own world? Are you going to make your own movie? Is it real or fake? Ego, you've been missing for half a year, are you holding back such a big move? The idea is very impressive, but how could it be so easy to make a movie? You can make it just by saying, shoot. A week later, under the pier of an overpass over the Shili River, 5 men were gathered around a small square table to eat barbecue. The simple plastic chairs, the open dirt ground, and the pervasive smoke and fire make this barbecue stall look like a haunted vendor that the urban management will come up and take away at any time. But the grilled skewers served on the table are really delicious. The owner is from the Uyghur ethnic group, and it is said to come from Kashgar. The grilled lamb chops and crispy bones are sprinkled with cumin, with a charred exterior and tender interior, and a fragrant aroma that is particularly reminiscent of the western regions. The most soulful way to eat is still to make naan buns of meat. Take a roasted golden and crispy naan cake, put a few roasted lamb skewers that are greasy and bubbly on top, close the naan cake with your big hands, and draw the sign out. This hot-baked bread is wrapped in a mixture of lean and fat roasted lamb, and when eaten with great opening and closing, it gives off a rough and vast feeling of smoke rising in the desert, and the sun setting in the long river. But now they are not eating naan and bauru, because they want to talk about filming. Everyone is holding a long sign stripped the skewers and drinking with a disposable cup. The 4 men who ate with Yang Yi were all actors. To be precise, they are all old actors like Yang Yi, who have been up and down for many years and still haven't gained fame. This old is relative. Among the 5 people, the oldest one is like Yi Fuming, born in 1978 and 45 years old this year. The children are all 8 years old. Yang Yi is 31 years old this year, but he is not the youngest. Liao Chunxing, who just called him Yi Gu, is 2 years younger than him. 29 years old is not young anymore, only 1 step away from 30. It is said that they stand at 30, but at the age of 30 or 40, they have not yet established their own names in this circle. Not to mention how outsiders perceive them, they themselves feel that they have been struggling in these years. So, when Zhang Jiejun pulled this group, he even gave their group a special name, called Disappointed Alliance. It's disappointment, not failure. A single word difference is 1,000 miles of error. Disappointment is a lack of ambition, resulting in unsatisfactory outcomes. Failure is a more negative way of admitting defeat and acknowledging one's own outcome. Self-proclaimed losers are because they still have the courage, are unwilling to give up, and are unwilling to give up their dream of being an actor. Being able to come together and become close friends is also because they are all similar and unwilling to follow the crowd and become tools of fame and fortune. Acting well, being obsessed with acting skills, and becoming an old actor who has always had acting skills in the future is their ultimate dream. Yi Fuming is the most prominent representative among them. Strictly speaking, Lao Yi is not considered a disappointed person. Because when he was young, Yi Fuming played the lead role and won awards for his sensitive literary film. But Yi Fuming is a very introverted person. He is very picky about scripts, and in his early years, he mostly made literary films. He is often banned in China, so he is not very popular among ordinary audiences. Now he is more selective. He doesn't shoot online dramas, bad films, and big production projects. Even though he is willing to study small supporting role for good scripts, in recent years he is still trapped in the dilemma of almost no scenes to shoot. Of course, Yi Fuming is not in a hurry. He bought a house in the capital in his early years, and his wife is a teacher with a high salary. Even if his income from filming is average, he can still live a decent life. He can continue to uphold his beliefs. Not everyone, like Yi Fuming, has the confidence to continue to consume. Ma Shiqing, who is already 35 years old, has been urged by his family in the past 2 years, and at the same time, he has been beaten by various realities, which has made his mentality a bit imbalanced. Just now when Yang Yi said he plans to film by himself, Ma Shiqing couldn't help but question a few words, which sounded a bit sinister. It's not about making a movie, what I mean is to try making a TV series first. Yang Yi picked up the bottle and poured them beer. Making TV dramas is not easy either. Xiaoyi, I know you come from a screenwriting background, and writing scripts is not a problem for you, but can you also be a director? Director, screenwriter, and acting with us are not the same thing. Zhang Jiajun doesn't know how well Yang Yi's script is written, he hasn't read the script brought by Yang Yi yet. At present, that stack of scripts is in the hands of Yi Fuming. Yi Fuming was so devoted that he didn't even care about Strip the Skewers, and Zhang Jiajun didn't want to come to see it. The key is that you have to shoot it yourself. Whether it's done well or not, by the way, does this filming cost money? Where are you going to attract investment? Ma Shiqing continues to question and remains pessimistic. I want to raise a few million first, shoot the first few episodes, and then show them to those video platforms. As long as the quality of the produced films is good, I can definitely get investment. Yang Yi has confidence in The Hidden Corner, such a beautiful drama is sure to explode. Damn it, raise a few million. Where did you raise so much money? Crowdfunding. Xiaoyi, Ma Gu doesn't support your dream, but you also know the situation. My pocket is cleaner than my face. Ma Shiqing exaggeratedly pulled out his pocket to show Yang Yi. Don't blame Ma Shiqing for his reality. Talking about money does hurt feelings, especially when it comes to a group of poor people talking about money. Didn't you see that both Zhang Jiajun and Liao Chunxing had a bitter smile on their faces? If you want to say a few thousand or tens of thousands of yuan, even a few buddies can find a way to help you scrape together. Just say a few million yuan from the beginning, where can we scrape together? We can't sell all the houses in our hometown, can we? Zhang Jiajun said half jokingly and half seriously. It's not crowdfunding, I will find a way to solve the money problem myself. But filming this scene is not something I can handle alone, and I still need everyone's help. Yang Yi picked up a glass of wine and looked at them sincerely. Don't be fooled by the fact that the 5 members of the Disappointed Alliance are all losers who can't make a name for themselves. In fact, the bumpy experiences can train people even more. After more than a decade, or even more than 20 years of trial and error, they all have their own unique skills in filming or have accumulated a lot of network resources. For example, Zhang Jiajun, besides filming, also participates in plays and is even very familiar with the production of props. There is also Liao Chunxing. Although he is the youngest among the 5 people, in reality, his mind is the most flexible and his network is the widest. Unlike Yang Yi and Yi Fuming, who came from a professional background, he often played tricks in group performances in his early years. Therefore, many group leaders in Beijing and Hengdian have connections with him. Even Ma Shiqing, who thought he was doing the worst and was extremely poor, had his own unique skills. Music. Yes, Ma Shiqing knows music. Although he is not from a professional background, he sings very well and is often called original singer in KTV. When there is no filming, Ma Shiqing will still live stream online to earn some tipping money. However, Ma Shiqing is really unattractive, so even with a good voice, he didn't have the opportunity to make any achievements in the music industry. Of course, in this era, the music industry is not particularly popular. If Yang Yi wants to film, the first thing he must do is to form his team. Without money or qualifications, he can only consider from familiar people. If the 5 brothers can come together, wouldn't half of the grassroots team be ready? And now that Yang Yi has a work, he just wants to lead his brothers around. When he wasn't filming before, Yi Fuming and the others extended a helping hand to him. There's no problem with filming. If you need it, I definitely have no second thoughts. I don't want any film or entertainment. At first, Ma Shiqing wanted to say that he would pay for the film, but after hesitating for a moment, he changed his mind. Dough is cleaner than face, but for men, face is more important than money. Are you looking for me to film? I need to check the schedule, otherwise if there's a conflict, it won't look good. Oh, my schedule is all empty. That's no problem. Zhang Jiajun pretended to look at his phone, and the final result made everyone burst into laughter. It seems that not talking about borrowing money is still effective, and the atmosphere on the small square table has become much more relaxed. I don't have a problem, as long as Brother E needs it, I will be there for thousands of miles. Liao Chunsheng raised his hand and looked at Yi fuming after expressing his opinion. But Brother E, do you want to find a video platform to attract investment in the later stage? Isn't the scene you filmed a web drama? Why do you have to look at Yi fuming when you say this? Because they all know very well that Yi fuming never accepts web dramas. You should know that in recent years, the trend of online dramas has been very strong, from being poorly made in the past to now hiring influential directors and some well-known professional actors. As a professional actor who has won foreign awards before, Yi fuming still has some gimmicks, so many online dramas are looking for him to play, and the price offered is not low. But without exception, they were all rejected by Yi fuming. It's not a problem to make it into a web drama. I don't make web dramas, it's just because those scripts are too scary. If there are good scripts, I won't refuse, such as Xiaoyi's one. Yi fuming raised the script in his hand, without hiding his admiration in his eyes. He didn't finish reading the script, but just by watching the first 2 episodes, he was deeply attracted and couldn't put it down, unwilling to give it to Zhang Jiajun who had been waiting for a long time next to him. Is Xiaoyi's script well written? Zhang Jiajun knows that Lao Yi is the kind of person who knows no bounds. If it's not good, even if it's a script written by acquaintances, he won't praise it. It's written very well, the characters are portrayed with distinctive features, and the plot is intricately intertwined, with a strong sense of suspense. Anyway, if I don't finish watching it tonight, I won't be able to sleep. After Yi fuming finished speaking, he couldn't help but point to Yang Yi. I thought it was a pity for you, Xiaoyi, to give up acting, but I really didn't expect that you didn't waste these 6 months. After accumulating knowledge, I was inspired to create such an interesting suspense drama script. Yi fuming's praise made Yang Yi feel a bit overwhelmed, and his words of expressing emotions were meaningful. Others cannot hear it because Yang Yi has not told anyone else about her marriage to Li Mengfei. Only Yi fuming knows who Yang Yi's wife is. Before, Yang Yi took Li Mengfei to celebrate his daughter Yi Yujia's 8th birthday. In Yi fuming's view, the vivid portrayal of Zhang Dongxing's character in The Hidden Corner is somewhat related to Yang Yi's invasion into Li Mengfei's home. Although he is not sure about the relationship between Yang Yi and Li Mengfei's family, and although Yang Yi and Li Mengfei appear to be quite affectionate, there is a significant difference in their social status, especially since the male and female are so far apart. There will definitely be various problems at the family level. This is almost common sense, no need to guess. Yang Yi couldn't explain, and it was difficult to explain at the moment. He could only shake his head with a bitter smile. Fortunately, others didn't pay much attention to Yi fuming's subtext. On the contrary, each one was piqued by his description, urging Yi fuming to hand them the script for a look. I'll send you the electronic version. I only printed 1 copy of the paper version. Everyone, take a look at it on your phone first, and I'll type it out for you later. Yang Yi took out his phone upon seeing this. Do we need to sign a confidentiality agreement first? Yi fuming reminded him jokingly. Don't use the confidentiality agreement, right? Everyone is brothers, and I have actually registered the copyright for this script. I have also contacted the publishing house for the novel version. The opening sentence of Yang Yi made Yi fuming frown. After listening to what he said later, Yi fuming finally calmed down. Isn't this kid without any sense of defense? It seems that Xiaoyi has already made a comprehensive plan. What else are you saying? Brothers, go back and study the script carefully, help him make this movie. The Hidden Corner. Zhang Jiajun glanced at the name of the script. Although the plot is not yet known, Zhang Jejun began to have great expectations for this drama based on Yi Fuming's evaluation earlier. Will it become a comeback for the brothers of the Alliance of Disappointed? A well-planned plan still requires money. Big Brother, filming TV dramas. It's millions, not tens of thousands. Ma Shiqing still doesn't have much confidence in Yang Yi's impulsiveness. Don't worry, Xiao Yi said he can handle these millions, so there must be no problem. Yi Fuming patted Yang Yi's shoulder and smiled meaningfully. Thank you for the reward from the divine light of autumn. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. 5 Vests and 5 Divine Works, 12, Seeking Reading and Voting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 5 Vests and 5 Divine Works, 12, Seeking Reading and Voting. Yi Fuming said that Yang Yi was able to make an initial investment of several million because he knew it was just a few million, which was not a big deal for Li Mengfei, who had been popular for almost 20 years. Isn't it normal for a wealthy wife to provide some financial support when her husband wants to shoot a TV drama? Yang Yi could only smile bitterly upon hearing this, allowing his image as a soft rice man to be suppressed by his friends without explanation. It's not that I don't want to explain, but it's difficult to explain. Explain what? He said he was still hiding from Li Mengfei and wanted to quietly achieve results before giving her a surprise. Or do you say you don't want your daughter.in.law's money, afraid that your mother.in.law will misunderstand you and cheat you out of marriage and money? There are 2 reasons, but Yang Yi cannot say either. He doesn't want to expose his relationship with Li Mengfei to too many people, let alone let Yi Fuming know about the conflicts at home. Family shame should not be exposed. If a problem that could have been solved by closing the door is made public and others discuss it, giving opinions or blaming one party, it will only escalate the small matter and make it even more uncontrollable. Soft rice men should be soft rice men. Anyway, it's a fact that I spend my wife's money and stay at her home. Have you arrived at the hotel yet? How was your stay? I went to a gathering with Lao Yi and Jun Ge tonight. We haven't seen each other for over half a year, and Jun Ge and Xiao Liao even rushed over from out of town. Yang Yi returned home early, and his alcohol tolerance was decent. After drinking a few bottles of beer, he was still very energetic, and video calls with Li Mengfei were also smooth sailing. Li Mengfei sat quietly by the hotel bed listening, with her arms slightly raised on her phone, allowing Yang Yi to look at her. In the camera, she is wearing a yellow and red floral long dress, with a denim shirt as her coat. Of course, regardless of the clothes, with Li Mengfei's national and heavenly goose egg-shaped face, it makes people feel that she is the most cutting-edge fashion at present, dignified and magnificent, unparalleled in style. Even though they were already intimate couples, Yang Yi still liked Li Mengfei's appearance. As she spoke, she forgot what she was saying and just stared at her daughter.in.law's face foolishly. Is it so beautiful? Li Mengfei's cheeks turned slightly red, and she gently reached out to flick her hair. Her long and beautiful hair was like waves under the moonlight, dark and thick, soft and smooth, curled and slightly swaying, as if a faint fragrance could be smelled through the screen. She certainly knows she is very beautiful, but when a woman tries to please herself and her husband still likes to stare at her like he did when he was in love, how could she be unhappy? Good looking, must be good looking. Whoever says it's not good looking, I disagree first. Clever words make me happy. Where is it to make you happy? If you don't believe it, take a look at those news. Don't they all praise you for being like when you were 15 or 16 years old, and having been looking good for so many years? Don't read the news can write you like a fairy today, and tomorrow it will talk about you like this and that. Li Mengfei is very clear-headed, and she doesn't care what others think. As long as she wants to entrust a lifelong man to love her as always. Whenever something comes out, entertainment journalists and fans are boasting about her, just like Yang Yigang just said, praising her beauty for 20 years without much change. But what about the actual situation? Li Mengfei was indeed incredibly beautiful when she was young, with a beauty of 360 degrees without blind spots, but now it is still very beautiful, but it is no longer 360 degrees without blind spots. No one can maintain their youth forever. Li Mengfei is very aware of her physical condition, especially in the years after the age of 30, when time begins to show its power. The skin is quietly deteriorating, and if cosmetics can still be used to cover it up, the crow's feet at the corners of the eyes and the legal lines on both sides of the nose wings are really becoming more and more noticeable year by year. Grass and trees are scattered, and beauty grows old. Li Mengfei would have such a panic if she didn't indulge in human activities anymore. So she, who had never thought about getting married before, had a sweet relationship with a man who had a good personality and was very caring about people at an age when she had not completely lost confidence in her appearance. Surprisingly, she got married to everyone, including herself and Yang Yi. Of course, Li Mengfei had never told anyone about these precautions, and neither Yang Yi nor her mother knew about them. She just remained indifferent to everything as usual. It seems that all things in life arise and fall due to fate. That's right, don't worry about what others say. Just be yourself. What time does the audition start tomorrow? I'll be there at 8:30, I don't know when it's my turn. So early. Then hurry up and take a shower, rest up, and try to take off the role of Liang Xiaobei tomorrow. Li Mengfei agreed, but there was no other movement in her hand. She continued to watch Yang Yi quietly. Don't worry, you can act according to the method we discussed this week. Regardless of whether Director Shi has chosen the plot we have practiced, the idea is the same. You can immerse yourself in Liang Xiaobei's emotions. Yang Yi could see the nervousness in her heart. After all, it was Director Shi Yanqiu, and this time the character was also Li Mengfei's attempt to transform, so she slowly enlightened and spoke in the same tone as the teacher in the performance class. Their video phone kanji lasted for a long time, and finally ended in Li Mengfei's reluctant eyes. Yang Yi put down his hot phone and didn't rush to take a shower to rest. Instead, he sat in front of the computer and opened the writer's backstage. There are many new news prompts in the upper right corner of the writer's back end, but Yang Yi can't pay attention to these for now. He opens a document called Covering the Sky and copies the content from Chapter 51, 1 Day, 3 Autumn, to Chapter 60, 8 Directions, Cloud Movement, to the backend one by one, publishing updates. Note 1, subsequently, Yang Yi opened the writer backstage of *** Novel Network again, and the same operation was performed. However, this time he updated Do Pe Tsang Qi, which is also from Chapter 51 to Chapter 60. Next is *** Chinese website, which will publish the content from Chapter 11, Little Dance. You Are Really a Rabbit, 3, to Chapter 13, Father's Message, 3, of Dolua Continent, which is also the content of Chapter 10. There is also The Buddha is the Way from Qingqing Chinese Network and Star Transformation from Character Novels. It's a bit tiring to update 5 novels in one go, so be extra careful when copying and pasting. It's good to say that the order of chapter updates is wrong, but if the updated works are mixed up, it can be a disaster. Can you imagine what kind of Taoist sect or Duki-Do sect suddenly appears in the world of cultivating martial souls ahead? Readers must be at a loss, and it's difficult to cross stations to find evidence of these novels crossing the stage. After all, the pen names he uses on each website are not the same. For example, Chen Dong wrote Zhe Tian and Tian Chan Tua wrote Do Pe Tsang Qi. The corresponding pen names for each novel belong to their original authors. I didn't use my own name because Yang Yi was updating these online novels with the aim of becoming a great writer in the online literature world. He simply wanted to make money and obtain the Start.up funds to shoot The Hidden Corner. Before deciding to film The Hidden Corner himself, Yang Yi thought for a long time. Firstly, the purpose of filming The Hidden Corner was twofold. Yang Yi felt, one for himself and the other for Li Mengfei. Career is very important to men. Without ambition, men are not considered men. Admittedly, this sentence had a great impact on Yang Yi, but it was not enough to make him make up his mind to film. After all, he made a promise to his mother-in-law and didn't want to provoke her and cause family conflicts. But later on, he used an actor experience card to teach Li Mengfei how to act, which made Yang Yi re-examine himself and the superstar system. Being able to help his wife and seeing her tangible progress, Yang Yi felt happier than anyone else. And the fairy sister looked at his admiration, even with a little bit of admiration, which made Yang Yi feel unprecedentedly satisfied. Originally, willingly hiding behind his daughter-in-law's shadow, willingly becoming a family cook who knows nothing but to seek warmth and comfort, that was just his illusion. He is willing to be the man behind his daughter-in-law, but in reality, he prefers to be the strongest and most reliable backing for his daughter-in-law. When she encounters difficulties in acting, Yang Yi can guide her at home to prevent her from feeling lost and helpless. When she encounters a crisis in public opinion, Yang Yi can stand up and support her, so that she won't be isolated and helpless. When she faced the dilemma of not being able to film, Yang Yi could tailor work specifically for her that could make her stand out, so that she and her mother-in-law no longer had to worry about her future. So, after thinking about this, Yang Yi realized that he had to film and become an influential director. All of this has to start with The Hidden Corner, and to start filming The Hidden Corner, Yang Yi also needs to prepare at least 5 million yuan in start-up funds. After applying the precious Director Experience card to Director Xin Shuang of The Hidden Corner, Yang Yi is no longer a director novice. He knows how to shoot TV dramas, how to shoot The Hidden Corner, and even more, how much money directors from another world spent on filming The Hidden Corner. 50 million. Of course, Yang Yi couldn't come up with 50 million yuan in funds. Even if their immortal sister had it, she wouldn't be able to come up with it for a while. So Yang Yi came up with a plan to shoot first and then attract investment. 5 million is still a huge number. Yang Yi still had no intention of reaching out to the immortal sister to ask for it, although he didn't care if Yi Fuming and the others treated him like a soft rice man. However, considering that this might touch the sensitive nerves of his mother-in-law, he decided to prepare it himself. It's not too late to give them another surprise when we have achieved results. But where did he go to prepare for 5 million? Yang Yi's first thought was to write the original novel of The Hidden Corner and sell it for money. The TV series, The Hidden Corner, is adapted from Zi Jinshan's original novel, Bad Kids, and this information can be seen in the opening credits of the TV series. Yang Yi also followed the clues and searched through the system resource library to find several other suspense novels by Zi Jinshan, whether it was Bad Kid, Crime Without Evidence, or Long Night is Hard to See. He was mesmerized by every book he read. If these novels can be published, you will definitely get a lot of royalties. However, there is an issue with publishing physical books, as it takes a long time from submitting the manuscript to the publisher for editor review, to selling it for money in subsequent publications, even if all the processes go smoothly. But when it comes to books, they don't sell very well all at once. If you want to make money and get a lot of money, you have to continue waiting. How many more years will it take to start filming The Hidden Corner? Yang Yi can't wait. Li Mengfei can't wait either. They have been secretly married for half a year now, and Yang Yi has no idea how long they can keep it hidden. So, Yang Yi decided to walk on two legs, not only to contact publishing houses and publish physical books, but also to focus on online literature that monetizes faster than physical works. Note 1. Although this book may have the plot of Yang Yi writing online articles, it is only a small side plot, with the purpose of making money through filming. The main storyline is still about filming and acting. Please rest assured that Xiao Han will not delve into the plot of these masterpieces in our online literary world in the main text, but rather focus on the original 5 white lines. As you are very familiar with these works, it is not necessary for Xiao Han to depict them to everyone, just how popular and powerful they are. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Editors are going to cry. 22, seeking tickets and pursuing reading. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Editors are going to cry. 22, seeking tickets and pursuing reading. Yang Yi loves reading books, otherwise he wouldn't have talked to Li Mengfei. Although after entering college, due to his coursework and filming needs, his focus on reading has shifted to traditional literature, or online novels on real-life and historical themes that have already been published and sold film and television copyrights. But during his high school years, Yang Yi was still a true fan of online novels. Looking at an electronic dictionary, he went to rent a bookstore and stood there to read. Later, he stayed up all night with his phone to read. He was almost immersed in the imaginative world of online novels that day, which was empty and reckless. Being addicted to online novels can have a relatively bad consequence, which is a decrease in grades. In junior high school, he was originally at an average level in the class, but by the third year of junior high, he had already become a crane tail. Yang Yi's parents divorced from a young age, and his mother had already remarried. He had his own new family and children, and his father went to another city to do business, ignoring him and not caring about whether he did well in his exams. Only grandma is worried about him. Grandma heard from others that if her grades are not good, she can learn to draw. The art exam does not require high grades in cultural subjects. Coincidentally, Yang Yi attended a painting interest class for 6 years in elementary school and painted very well with a solid foundation. Grandma called his father to give him money and asked Yang Yi to pick up his paintbrush again and receive art exam training. If Yang Yi persists in following this path, he may be admitted to a certain art school, become a painter or designer, and then be taken away by AI in this era. Fortunately, when Yang Yi reached his sophomore year of high school, he suddenly woke up. His interest is not in painting, and his true dream is not to become a painter, but to learn how to perform and become an actor, especially one who can appear on TV or screen, make his grandmother understand his work, and make her proud. So, in his sophomore year of high school, Yang Yi changed his direction and took the entrance exam for a performance school. Without enough time to learn physical form, vocal music, and dance, he took the exam for a screenwriter who was more confident and saved the country. Despite struggling in other subjects, his Chinese grades have always been good, and he also has a quick wit in making up stories. After a year of cramming in basic knowledge and comprehensive knowledge of literature and art, he unexpectedly passed the Beijing Film Academy entrance exam. Then he studied his own major while taking acting classes, and later became an actor after graduation. Yang Yi realized his wish to let his grandmother see him on TV, even on the screen in the cinema, but before he could fulfill his dream of making his grandmother proud of himself, the grandmother who loved him the most passed away. Dreams have become regrets, and Yang Yi can only continue to move forward with her grandmother's blessings, hoping that one day's success can comfort her spirit in heaven. Far-fetched, Yang Yi, who plans to use online novels as a means of filming TV dramas, still needs to solve a problem. How can he accurately find works that are highly popular and can earn him enough money from the massive online novel database? It's definitely not realistic to read one by one. With millions of works, he can go through them one by one, or he doesn't need to go through them all. He can't even read each book for a few pages. However, Yang Yi, who is familiar with online novels, quickly found a shortcut. There is a genre called Wenchong in online literature, which may not be suitable for publishing on their world's novel websites. However, through the descriptions of the authors in these novels, Yang Yi can quickly find excellent works in that aspect. Not only in online novels and literary works, but also in this way, he can use this idea to solve the problem of finding excellent works in film and television dramas. Now he is not in a hurry to find other movies and TV shows. The top priority is to save enough money to set up the production team and finish filming The Hidden Corner. After flipping through more than 10 popular novels related to online literature, Yang Yi found that many authors mentioned a word, 5 Whites of the Central Plains. Although Yang Yi is not sure if these 5 great gods are the top 5 internet authors in the world, according to those authors, the status of the 5 whites of the Central Plains is still very high, and their income ranks first on the list of writers and billionaires. After searching for their works through their pen names, Yang Yi wanted to take a rough look, but after reading a few pages, he was amazed. Especially the movie, Covering the Sky. The massive Kowloon coffin outside the International Space Station, just the description in words made Yang Yi's imagination and blood boil, and that night he directly relived the passion of reading novels all night when he was young. If it weren't for accompanying Li Mengfei to practice the script, he would have been addicted and unable to extricate himself. Of course, the goal needs to be clear, he has to make money to film. The next day, Yang Yi registered 5 vests on 5 mainstream novel websites and simultaneously updated the 5 masterpieces of the 5 whites of the Central Plains. After completing the update, Yang Yi turned around and opened the writer backend of Yuedu Chinese website, clicking to view unread internal messages. His internal messages were almost full. From yesterday during the day until tonight, over a day, the website editor Bird, whom he had previously contacted, sent him more than 20 messages. Are you there? Take a look at the buckle. See me back. Why don't you add me on WeChat? My phone number is XXXXXXXX. What's your phone number? Can I call you directly and say it's okay? Earlier, Bird tried to contact Yang Yi, but later reluctantly posted what he wanted to say on the station's internal letter. Chen Dong, I have contacted the editor-in-chief to discuss your demands, and there will be a meeting to discuss them. Don't worry, I have great confidence in your book, Covering the Sky, and there will definitely be plenty of resources in the future. If we operate well, we will definitely become a bestseller. It's not impossible for a book to become a masterpiece. The latest internal message was just sent by Yang Yigang after he updated it. Big brother, let's not discuss how to sign the contract for now. Can you stop updating your new book issue so aggressively? I can't even recommend 10 chapters a day. If it weren't for the fact that you can't send emojis on the website, Ching Chaojun might have added a crying expression at the back. Ching Chaojun is Bird, the editor-in-chief of Yang Yi's website Yuedu Chinese. Although he has returned home from work now, he heard a sudden jolt on his phone and realized that his recently focused new book, Covering the Sky, was undergoing a diarrhea-like update. Ching Chaojun quickly opened his computer and left a message for Yang Yi on the buttons and the writer's backend. It's too difficult. Ching Chaojun felt like he had encountered the first and most quirky author in his career. The newcomer's new book surprisingly did not sign happily, and even proposed a series of extremely strict requirements such as only signing a 5-year short contract and authorization does not include adaptation rights for movies, animations, comics, games, etc. How could this be possible? Even great writers and platinum writers cannot obtain such lenient signing terms, can they? Unless you are the supreme god of the internet literature world. But even the supreme god wouldn't joke with them like this by wearing a vest. If we were to talk about cooperation, it must have been our Lord who came over to discuss it. Ching Chaojun did not reject Yang Yi's incredible offer. He was still very optimistic about the work, Covering the Sky. After trying to persuade Yang Yi to no avail, he even found a way to help him negotiate with his superiors. But negotiations also involve bargaining, so he can't go alone and tell the editor-in-chief that the author himself hasn't said a word for 2 consecutive days, can he? Ching Chaojun is currently sandwiched in the middle, not on either side. After leaving a message for a while, but still not seeing a response from Yang Yi, Ching Chaojun reluctantly took out his phone and started reading the newly updated chapters of Covering the Sky. Wow, wow. Handsome, handsome. It looks good. Why hasn't it gone? Who is such a person, who actually arrived in person? Ching Chaojun's expression and movements when watching Covering the Sky were very exciting, sometimes showing his teeth, sometimes dancing with excitement, and after reading chapter 10, he he scratched his ears and cheeks, almost unable to cry at the reminder of unfinished yet to be continued. Not enough to see. Not enough to see at all. He glanced at the comments section and casually liked one of them. Tai Chendong over and swing his whip to make him code 10 more chapters. Ching Chaojun completely forgot what he had just told Yang Yi in the station letter. As an editor, he definitely wants his book to be updated step by step, and take off like a rocket after the recommended traffic bonus. But as a reader, Ching Chaojun wants to read more, preferably dozens or hundreds of chapters in one breath. He does this every day and can read enough every day. Ching Chaojun withdrew his gaze ambivalent and was about to put down his phone to dry his clothes when his phone suddenly shook. Has Mr. Bird not rested yet? Chen Dong is buttoning him back. Ching Chaojun suddenly had an impulse to burst into tears. No, big brother, you're finally online. Ching Chaojun quickly sat down and didn't switch to the computer. Instead, he replied directly on his phone. It seems like if the reply is half a second slow, the other person will disappear without a trace again. I'm sorry, I have some personal matters these past few days and I can't get busy. It's not a big problem, I just want to remind you that it's best not to update too quickly during the new book period, and leave some manuscripts to be published before they explode. Ching Chaojun changed his computer and the keyboard was typing with a crackling sound. It doesn't matter, I have a draft. How did you apply to the leader? The other party didn't seem to want to ramble on other matters and directly returned to the topic of signing the contract. This is very difficult, as you know, our website is managed uniformly, and all authors' contracts follow the same paradigm. Moreover, the 5-year authorization period for your work is too short for my superiors to approve, and the management of the entire website will be disrupted when it comes to rumors. If you agree, we can sign for 20 years. However, for 20 years, normally we only have a sharing cooperation model, and the website will not provide any editing guidance, recommendation and traffic services. Of course, since you are a potential author we are currently focusing on tracking, we can make up for this part for you. Of course, if the book, Covering the Sky, can go viral, I will continue to arrange recommended resources for you in the future. And you should also be aware that our website has a system of the Great God Covenant and Platinum Covenant. If you can meet such standards in the future and sign the Great God Covenant and Platinum Covenant with us, many conditions will be much better than now. Ching Chaojun sent 3 large paragraphs to Yang Yi in a row. It's not that he doesn't want to give Yang Yi a better contract, but that's the result of the editor-in-chief's meeting discussion, and he can only politely repeat it. Speaking of which, he also drew a big cake for the other party. Of course, it's not a big cake either. Ching Chaojun really hopes that Yang Yi can become a god in one book. If the other party receives a great god agreement, Ching Chaojun can also add bonuses himself. So there's still no need to talk about it. As a result, in Ching Chaojun's expectant gaze, a short sentence came back. Why didn't we talk about it? Didn't I work hard to help you apply to the editor-in-chief? Ching Chaojun suddenly became anxious. Teacher Bird, I understand your position, but my condition is still as I mentioned before. The 5-year treaty does not include the right to adapt films, animations, games, etc. Of course, an additional clause can be added. After 5 years, under equal conditions, I will give priority to our Yuedu Chinese website. In the eyes of Ching Chaojun, Yang Yihua's words are really a lack of salt and oil, and even after speaking for a long time, it still doesn't make sense. Who? Ching Chaojun calmed down and prepared to have a heartfelt conversation with Yang Yi. But at this moment, Yang Yi buttoned up and threw 4 screenshots over. On the screenshot, there are 4 books, namely, Do Pa Tsang Chi from Fantasy Novel Network, Do Luo Continent from Dream Chinese Network, Buddha is Dao from Qinqing Chinese Network, and Xing Chen Bian from Character Novel Network. Ching Chaojun was a bit confused. What does it mean? End of this chapter. Chapter 9. This is not discussion. 12. Seeking tickets and pursuing reading. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. This is not discussion. 12. Seeking tickets and pursuing reading. Ching Chaojun is an editor, but he can't even finish reading the books of the authors he is responsible for. He just schemes through the list on Yuedu Chinese website. Where does he have time to follow books from other websites? And these few books all look like only a few dozen chapters, just like Covering the Sky. They belong to young seedlings that cannot be any younger. Since it is not a sensational work that has become popular all over the internet, Ching Chaojun is definitely not familiar with it. However, why did Chen Dong send these 4 books to himself? These 4 books are all mine. Nanny. Ching Chaojun's eyes were about to burst out. Write 5 books simultaneously. What international joke are you joking about? Seemingly seeing Ching Chaojun's confusion, Yang Yi added another sentence. You can check their updates and update times. After seeing it, Ching Chaojun's heart suddenly moved. He quickly opened his browser and found these 4 books on 4 friend websites. Sure enough, without exception, all 4 books have been updated to chapter 60. Even if there are chapters that are not written in this way, there are still updates to chapter 60 when counted. More obviously, they are all updates of 10 chapters a day, and the update time was just now. There's no need for Yang Yi to intercept the author's backstage footage anymore. Ching Chaojun has already believed his words. How can you write so much? Write 5 books a day, and each book updates about 30,000 words every day. Ching Chaojun couldn't help but ask. Writing 150,000 words a day, is this still a person? Of course, all the books are finished, I just want to find a place to update. Oh, that's more in line with common sense. These 4 books are no worse than Covering the Sky. Ching Chaojun was originally thinking about whether he could find an excuse to ask the other party for the manuscript of Covering the Sky. After reading this sentence, he couldn't sit still. Not worse than Covering the Sky. Is it really fake? You can go and take a look later. Okay. These 4 websites also want to sign with me, but I agree to this condition. They haven't decided whether or not to agree yet. The entire industry follows this standard. Chen Dong, it's really impossible to do it in 5 years. The conditions we offer are already beyond the norm. Upon seeing the other person's words, Ching Chaojun's face lit up with joy and he quickly persuaded them. But the other party didn't seem to see it at all and continued speaking his words. At present, all 5 books are not signed, and I can delete them at any time. Negotiating back and forth between the 5 websites is too troublesome, so my conditions are placed here. Whoever agrees first will transfer my 5 books to which side to continue updating. Teacher Bird, I'm not discussing with you, I just need to explain some situations to you clearly. You don't have to make things difficult, just pass it on to the leader. As for business, if we can get along, we can do it. If we can't get along, we'll still be friends. After reading Yang Yi's 4 paragraphs, Ching Chaojun's heart was pounding wildly. Sleeping trough, is he threatening us? Even if Yang Yi spoke calmly, Ching Chaojun still felt very uncomfortable. How could anyone talk business like this? Just throw out the bottom line without giving in at all. However, Ching Chaojun is also aware that if all 5 books are at the level of Covering the Sky, then the other party really has the confidence to talk to their website. They are fond of reading Chinese websites and may not necessarily be interested in these 5 books, nor may they easily let go of Yang Yi, but what about the other 4 websites? Qingqing Chinese website is very short of high-quality works, and they often come here to dig for great writers. In Ching Chaojun's opinion, it is highly likely to agree to Yang Yi's request. There is also Character Novel Network, which is an emerging novel website with strong capital behind it. It is not short of money at all, only short of popular good books to compete with Yuedu Chinese Network. They may also agree to Yang Yi's terms, and even, if they know that the other party has 5 major books, it is not impossible for them to offer even more generous treatment than Yang Yi's requirements to snatch people. Can we not talk to other websites for now? Qing Chaojun replied with difficulty. Let's compete fairly. Of course, I really hope to cooperate with you Edu here. It's not easy to encounter editors like Mr. Bird who are diligent and responsible. I don't know if what Yang Yi said was polite, but Qing Chaojun felt very comfortable listening to it. I'll read these 4 books from you tonight first, and then go talk to the leader tomorrow, okay? Qing Chaojun really wants to do more, but Yang Yi's contract doesn't count. Okay, Teacher Bird, rest early. After speaking, the button profile picture of Qindong ID went dark and he went offline. Qing Chaojun was in a daze for a while before suddenly remembering something. Oh, no, phone, WeChat. I forgot to ask for his number. Okay now, I can't get in touch again. He picked up his phone and wept at the button that didn't respond to any inquiries or pokes he made. The conference room of Magic City and Jiqiu Film and Television Company is already sparsely packed with a few people. If there were any journalists in the industry, he would definitely scream out loud. What kind of immortal lineup are these? Actress Lu Jingran, who won the Golden Horse Award, and TV actress Yan Xiao, who won the Magnolia Award, are already recognized as talented actresses Tang Han and Fu Weiwei, as well as actress Fang Yunzi, who was previously unknown but suddenly became popular at the end of last year due to the TV drama Xiangshui Ballad. What kind of thing would bring these famous domestic actresses together? But it's not difficult to guess. Jiqiu Film and Television is a company founded by Shi Yanqiu herself. And these are the actresses who have both strength and fame. It is obvious that today is the female lead casting for the recently talked about film project, Born in the Sun. Li Mengfei was the last one to appear, and when her cold and beautiful face appeared in the conference room, it also caught everyone's astonished gaze. Why did she come too? It's not that Li Mengfei doesn't have the qualifications to audition for Shi Yanqiu's movie. The problem is, this character's image and temperament differ so much from hers. Is it better for her to audition for any role? Among the many strange gazes, Fang Yunzi was the most nervous. She followed the movements of the others and stood up to greet Li Mengfei, but her expression was stiff and her smile was unnatural. She is the last person in the room to want to see Li Mengfei appear. Because in terms of acting skills, Fang Yunzi definitely cannot compare to the 2 award-winning predecessors Lu Jingran and Yan Xiao, and is also a bit precarious compared to the young actors Tang Han and Fu Weiwei, who have excellent acting skills. Fang Yunzi felt that the only thing she could handle was the huge traffic brought to her by Xiangshui Ballad. If director Shi Yanqiu wants a female actress with good acting skills and her own topic and popularity to play his leading role, then Fang Yunzi still has a chance to stand out. But now Li Mengfei is here. The titles given to her by the media, such as National Goddess and Immortal Sister, are not in vain. Even if Fang Yunzi is a relatively popular actress nowadays, she is somewhat overshadowed by Li Mengfei, who has been popular since her teens. Fang Yunzi's traffic may seem very high, but it's all because one work suddenly exploded. As long as the next work doesn't produce any splashes, it will definitely be abandoned by the traffic soon. Li Mengfei has been popular for 20 years, and although her popularity has fluctuated, she has always been a small flower. Moreover, her image is better, there are no scandals, and she is the white moonlight in the eyes of many fans. Her background is really abundant. When Fang Yunzi saw her, she couldn't help but feel envious, jealous, and resentful. What to install? After seeing Li Mengfei's simple response, she found a corner and sat down on her own. She was quite far away from everyone, and even a whole table away from her. Fang Yunzi couldn't help but mutter in her heart. Li Mengfei is not pretending, she is pure social anxiety. It may still be possible to chat with friends who have good relationships, but asking her to pretend to communicate enthusiastically with those who are just nodding acquaintances and have never spoken before is really killing her. Among the few people on the scene, Li Mengfei only knew Yan Xiao, but she and Yan Xiao were only acquaintances. She had previously worked in the same production team and acted in several opposing scenes, which was many years ago. The two of them didn't even add any WeChat messages, let alone communicate on a daily basis. So, she had no intention of sitting next to Yan Xiao and Lu Jingran, who seemed to be chatting enthusiastically, getting involved in other people's conversations, or sitting next to the other three actresses to meet new friends. She silently sat in a corner that kept a safe distance from the others, picked up her phone, and told Yang Yi that she had arrived at the audition location. "Are there many people auditioning together?" Yang Yi's response was very timely. "No. Currently, there are only 6 people, including me." 6 people. The competition isn't very fierce then. But there are teachers Yan Xiao and Lu Jingran. Don't worry about others, you can do it. When we practiced at home, you acted very well. I believe you will definitely conquer director Shi Yanqiu this time. After chatting with Yang Yi for a while, her cold aura seemed to weaken a lot, and her beautiful eyebrows still carried a faint smile. Fang Yunzi looked at her secretly from the opposite side with some confusion. Aren't these ladies nervous about auditioning? I'll see you later, but director Shi Yanqiu. Or does she have any insider information? End of this chapter. Chapter 10. If Immortal Spirit Flies, Will It Not Be Earthly? 22. Seeking recommendation tickets, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. If Immortal Spirit Flies, Will It Not Be Earthly? 22. Seeking recommended tickets and monthly tickets, Lu Jingran's sword is still young. The control of the last drop of tears just now was so amazing that it kept holding on to it. It was only when the client was about to come out that it snapped and fell off. Lu Jingran's acting skills are definitely impeccable. But didn't Teacher Shi say that? Liang Xiaobei is not yet 30 years old, so she should be in a relatively young state. When Lu Jingran comes to play, she doesn't feel like she's in her 20s or 30s, but more like she's in her 40s. If you say that, Yan Xiao still needs an audition. She's actually older than Lu Jingran's. What I mean is, you can take a look again, and what Fu Weiwei just played, I think it's pretty good, much more natural than Fang Yunzi. She acted fairly well, but that was before seeing Lu Jingran's performance. Do you think compared to Lu Jingran, she still played Liang Xiaobei or Liang Xiaobei? When Shi Yanqiu returned from using the restroom, his 2 deputy directors were arguing fiercely. Of course, as he opened the door and entered, the sound of the audition room suddenly came to an end. Shi Yanqiu's prestige is too great. Whether it's the company or the crew, it's almost all his own words. Others can have their own ideas, but it can't influence Shi Yanqiu's decision at all. So, when they saw this skinny and hunched old man in his 60s come back, the 2 deputy directors immediately fell silent and dared not make any more noise. Who's the next one? Xiao Qi, go and shout over. Shi Yanqiu picked up the enamel cup on the table, took a sip of tea, then raised her hand and gave the order. Their argument was actually heard by Shi Yanqiu outside the door. But unlike their opinions, Shi Yanqiu is not satisfied with the female actors who auditioned in front of her. The performances of Fu Weiwei and Fang Yunzi were both very stiff, and Shi Yanqiu only read the sad emotions from their expressions and actions. The connection with the role of mother was very weak, feeling like 2 teary female white-collar workers, not Liang Xiaobei. Comparing Fu Weiwei and Fang Yunzi is no longer meaningful because the difference lies only in portraying female white-collar workers better, and portraying female white-collar workers worse. What's the use of comparing them to worse? It's not the effect that Shi Yanqiu wants. Lu Jingran's performance is quite worth mentioning. She is truly a powerful actress who has won the Best Actress award. Her control over her gaze, expression, and even tears has reached an astonishing level. Her portrayal of Liang Xiaobei was quite accurate in Shi Yanqiu's opinion, and perhaps even more outstanding performance could be stimulated on set. But Lu Jingran's problem is not in her acting skills, her image does not match Liang Xiaobei's character design. Liang Xiaobei is a young mother in her 20s and under 30 years old, and she is also a white-collar worker. Her figure should be quite graceful and her appearance should be quite beautiful. Lu Jingran is already in her 40s, and her appearance and skin cannot give the audience a feeling of being in her 20s. Not to mention that her current figure is a bit out of shape, and she doesn't seem to be related to the word graceful. Don't underestimate the demand for a graceful figure, as it relates to a significant conflict in the script of Born in the Sun. The online violence plot arises from it. So Shi Yanqiu cannot choose Lu Jingran just because she performs well. However, this is also the main reason for the difficulty in selecting the role of Liang Xiaobei. Shi Yanqiu wants Lu Jingran's acting skills, as well as her age in her 20s and 30s. With Fang Yunzi's appearance, actresses who meet his requirements are simply rare. It's not that there are no good young actors, but the Chinese film and television industry actually does not lack geniuses. But at this age, those who are still good-looking are all acting in idol dramas, aren't they? Who would be willing to play mom? Who can portray the temperament of being a mom again? Dong dong dong, Teacher Shi. Li Mengfei knocked on the door and came in. Can she be the Liang Xiaobei that Shi Yanqiu wants? Shi Yanqiu just glanced at her, nodded, and her eyelids drooped again. Obviously, Shi Yanqiu doesn't think so. Even before seeing Li Mengfei audition, Shi Yanqiu had already made a decision. It's not that Li Mengfei is not good, Shi Yanqiu actually quite appreciates Li Mengfei as an actress. Low-key, focused, and should be accompanied by the word love, as there have been many news reports about her injury due to hanging Weiya in her early years. If there was no love for acting, Shi Yanqiu believed that such a beautiful girl would not be willing to put herself in danger. But Li Mengfei is not suitable for the role of Liang Xiaobei. Shi Yanqiu has watched works by Li Mengfei, with some performing well and others performing poorly. The quality is uneven. However, it has nothing to do with whether she is seriously committed. The main issue is that her acting skills are not up to par. She can excel in roles that suit her, but she cannot perform roles that do not suit her. Liang Xiaobei is not suitable for her. Just as a mother, Shi Yanqiu thinks that Li Mengfei cannot play a fairy-spirited actress. How could she play such a down-to-earth role? Last week, Li Mengfei requested an audition opportunity from her relationship, but Shi Yanqiu couldn't resist. In addition, considering that her image and temperament were relatively good for the role of Liang Xiaobei, it gave her a chance to try. This is similar to Fang Yunzi's situation. Fang Yunzi is currently a highly recommended actress by her agency, which has a close relationship with the film's investors. Therefore, Shi Yanqiu gave her the opportunity to audition. Come on, do you need to prepare for the scene where Liang Xiaobei is waiting for customers in the restaurant? Shi Yanqiu casually pointed to the empty chair and table in the middle of the interview room and said to Li Mengfei. No need, director. Shall I start now? Li Mengfei is not a new actor who has auditioned for the first time, so although she felt the oppressive aura of director Shi Yanqiu, she did feel a bit nervous in her heart, but she still didn't mess up. Start. Shi Yanqiu nodded, leaned back, and held her arms in front of her chest. Li Mengfei didn't look at him, just walked with her bag in hand and walked to the chair in just a few steps. Thank you, could you give me a pot of jasmine tea first? I'll order later. She seemed to have received something in her hand, flipping it over and sitting down in the chair. Li Mengfei performed normally, even without any physical objects, such as putting on her bag, taking her phone to check information, flipping through the menu, and taking the teapot to say thank you to the waiter. It gave people a feeling of really holding their phone or looking at the menu. These are things that won't be written in the script. Li Mengfei's own design is quite clever. Shi Yanqiu remained calm as he watched. He knew that Li Mengfei's role as a female white-collar worker was not difficult to portray, and the key was still behind it. When Li Mengfei pulled over the teapot and was about to pick it up and pour it into her own cup, she seemed to hear something and turned her head to look. At this moment, time and space seemed to freeze. Li Mengfei did not make any other movements. Her left hand was in the shape of holding a cup, and her right hand was in the posture of grabbing the handle of the teapot, but she stopped and remained motionless. She didn't have any other expression either. Her faint smile had solidified just now, and her eyes were fixed on the front, still motionless. This remained motionless and lasted for over a minute. The deputy director sitting next to Shi Yanqiu couldn't help but move his head, feeling that if he continued to stare like this, he would also become stiff. Another director assistant kept turning his head to look at Shi Yanqiu, his eyes full of doubts, wanting to know if Li Mengfei was stuck. If he were to watch this performance online, he would definitely think that the network was stuck, causing the screen to pause. How could anyone act like this? Don't you act out what you see? Don't act out the reactions you see. But Shi Yanqiu also seemed to stagnate. He remained motionless, staring intently at Li Mengfei's almost expressionless face, taking it very seriously. This leaves the director's assistant puzzled. He didn't dare to disturb him, so he could only turn back and continue to look. Shi Yanqiu clearly could see the slight expression on Li Mengfei's face, whether it was the occasional flickering eyes with light, or the subtle twitching of the corners of her mouth and nose, the director could see it all. His originally perfunctory thoughts suddenly changed, and his attention became incredibly focused. Li Mengfei finally moved. She first moved her eyes that hadn't blinked for a while. The first time she blinked, she looked at the ground. The second time she blinked, she looked at her hands. It seemed like she was about to pour water, so she moved her hands, brought her left hand closer, and raised her right hand in a gesture. But she didn't lift it up because her beautiful eyes flickered again, and she slightly lifted her head to look out the window. This time, her head began to slowly follow the target of her gaze, but her face remained expressionless as before. What is she looking at? End of this chapter.